All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a public service announcement, also brought to you by me, Lala. This is an Oreo. This is not an Oreo. All right, I know what you're thinking. I was cute. I know. Hell, forget was. I still am. But I was adorable. Don't deny. Anyway, on to the point of the message. I'm being silly, but I show that to say this. When I was little, I was called an Oreo a lot because I spoke proper and I quote unquote talk like a white girl. In my household, I wasn't allowed to talk slang. I wasn't allowed to speak what we now know as Ebonics in my house. If I did, I was corrected, and my mother and my father were very stern about using proper language. They did that when I was younger, up to maybe middle school or maybe like fifth grade. So I could later distinguish when to talk into proper terms or when to speak in what I know now is your business dialect or your business way of communicating. And when you can kick it with your friends and talk the way you want to, and then your voice may change a little bit. That's not being fake. That's adapting to the world. Okay. So, I was called an Oreo. And any of you that don't know that term, most people are aware, but any of you that don't, it means you're white on the inside, or you act white, but you're chocolate on the outside, or basically a black girl that acts white. It really doesn't work with any other ethnicity. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, I don't know. Maybe there's some Hispanics out there. You've been called it too. Correct me if I'm wrong. But to my knowledge, this is just me. That's what I know it to be. So, here is my, not question, but here's what I have to say. Ladies and gentlemen, stop using the terms acting white and acting black as if there is a definition on how to act based on your race, ethnicity, your culture. Not all black people act the same. Not all white people act the same. Not all Hispanic people act the same. Not all Middle Eastern people act the same. Not all Asian people act the same. Not all American Indians act the same. Not all Greek people. I mean, the list goes on and on. I'm not going to name them off all day, or this will be an hour-long video. But not all one group of people acts the same. You have your ghetto black chicks and black dudes. You have your ghetto and or trailer-ish or whatever you want to call it. Not trying to be funny, but it is what it is. White people or whoever lives in the trailer parks. There's some black people too. You have your proper speaking, maybe grew up in a predominantly white area, maybe not, because I didn't. People who might speak a little bit more proper, who are black, white, and any other ethnicity. You have people with dialects from around the world who may act differently in comparison with the next person. So, there is no definition on how to act black or how to act white. Let that be known. So if you think that now, please open your mind to the possibilities that just because someone doesn't act like what you think someone should act like, it's not wrong. It's just different. That it doesn't mean they're trying to act any other way than they're supposed to act. Best believe when I'm in an interview, I might talk like this. I enunciate. I make sure that my words were clear. They're understood. I might use the vocabulary that I learned from books, from school. Everything is very... You understand everything that I'm saying. I talk a little bit slower. I make sure that you feel where I am coming from. Now, when I'm kicking it with my girls, I'm kicking it with my dudes, I'm just me. I'm chilling, you know what I'm saying? I talk, when I get really, really frustrated, I might talk a little bit faster than you. You might not really understand what I'm trying to say. You have to keep up, it might be a little bit like, I ain't gonna do this, I ain't gonna do that. I'm not gonna say, I am not going to do that. my friend. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to talk like that. But you adapt to your settings. If you're in class, okay, in my college, or my university, you had certain professors. They were cool. And you could talk it like you kicking it with your friends to get your point across. And you can do that in an intellectual way. I mean, I'm never going to be ignorant. I'm not going to use too much slang, that's for sure. And I don't use a lot of profanity when I'm talking. I have a problem with potty mouth when I get frustrated and upset and people push my buttons. But it's not going to be anything, you know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? You feel where I'm coming from. And I have a universal way of communicating with people. So you might get a little bit of sister girl. If I get really frustrated in the class, I'm trying to get my point across. You have a cool teacher that understands, and you have maybe a class that's full of people that understand where I'm coming from. They're not going to see my getting out of the proper terms as being ignorant. When I'm kicking it, if I'm at the mall, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm me. I'm talking just like I talk right now. You know, sometimes I have a little twang in my voice, so it might sound a little southern because I have family from the South and I pick up dialects like that. But you know what I'm saying? It's not being fake. Now, if you ghetto girl all the time and then you get around a group of people and all of a sudden you're, oh my gosh, like, totally. Like, that's a little extreme. That's not going to happen. That's a little extreme. Not saying that it can't happen, but it's a little unlikely. So, I say this to say, everybody, open your minds to the possibilities, and not everybody's going to be like you who looks like you.